Pleasure to be joined by Allan Swan from Swan Yii. How are you, Allan?
I'm good.
So look, you've got the heady topic to talk about at SPAA for 2014, segregated funds for estate planning.
Yeah, I had the topic that sounded really dry, and I had to find a way of making it interesting.
Yeah, but the thing is that as dry as it sounds, there's nothing dry about it at all, because it's actually a highly emotive area of planning, isn't it?
It is, and people really commit to it, and they really find it important.
Yeah.
So it's not as if it's something that people want to sweep under the carpet. Once they confront it, they really want to deal with it.
Okay, well, let's just talk about what segregated planning is. Or segregated funds.
Yeah. When you've got a self-managed super fund, if you've got two people who are, a couple, and they both have the same children and they have exactly the same ambitions.
So you and I are married, we've got kids.
Yeah, and we don't feel we need to segregate. But you'll have other people who don't have common ambition. They mightn't even have kids in common, or they might have no kids, and they have different ambitions as to what happens to their wealth. And that's when segregated funds become important.
So does it work in a way that, so for my children, so with stepkids or whatever, right?
Yeah.
That one partner wants her kids to have this much, and then I want to make sure that my kids have this much, and our shared children get that much as well.
Yeah.
So that seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
If the trustees have a logical, rational discussion about it.
Yes.
Would that be a fair assessment?
Yes, exactly.
So where does it go wrong?
They don't have the logical, rational conversation. Yeah, and that's really the job, is to get them to calm down and have that logical.
So this
conversation.
is the trustees of the fund before anything happens.
Yeah. Because so often what happens, if you don't segregate and you don't address these issues, whoever dies second makes all the decisions.
Yeah.
And so the person who dies second favours their family members over the others, and it's usually too late to do anything about it.
Okay, well, give us an example of the sort of things that might happen.
Well, the well-known case example that came up was Katz and Grossman. In Katz and Grossman, the sister, dad was widowed, the sister became the co-trustee of the fund, and she managed to grab all the superannuation, and the brother got nothing.
Right.
And
so dad, sister, son, daughter, son.
Yeah, same
so
relation,
daughter,
same family even, but she just took the opportunity to grab everything, and the brother who had no say in the superannuation didn't get that chance. When you move that into a blended family situation, the likelihood of that sort of thing happening just increases exponentially.
Okay, so but how often does something like that happen? Because you would think, as a parent, that you'd look at your kids, even stepkids, and go, look, they're fine, they're rational, they get along, we're happy.
Yeah. I think if you have a conversation with someone, and probably particularly in my area of work, it's amazing how many times people talk about the fact that when parents died, they fell into dispute with their siblings.
Okay.
And they might never have fought with their siblings since they're 4 years old or something, but death certainly changes things, and money changes things.
And do you think that's largely because I don't know, maybe the caretaker of the relationship, or, like the top dog of the relationship, which is the parent, because they're not there to settle things, or they're not there to listen to, that suddenly...
And I think sometimes the parent is the person that holds you back, that stops you from fighting.
Yeah, because you want to get along.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And also the other thing...
How was Christmas at your place?
Yeah, that's right. Well, and when that sort of doesn't happen, but I actually think there's a danger period that often, if it's successfully negotiated, people then become keener to keep up with their brothers and sisters when their parents are gone, because they need some sort of commonality and some sort of link. But in that danger period after death, and with money at stake, that's when problems occur.
All right, so in a fairly standard or basic way, what are some of the quick tips to use to get around that issue?
We want to know what the ambitions of each parent are, or each member of the couple are. So if they're identical, well, then it's less of an issue. And we also want to know what the trust levels are between the two of them, because some people won't trust their partner to do the right thing. They'll be worried about the blonde or whatever. As someone who's become a blonde, I think that's really unfair.
How do you how do you ascertain trust? I mean, because you can't sit there and talk to two people together and say, do you trust that person? Because of course the answer is going to be...
Well, you talk about what their wants are and what their wishes are. Often
independently, or?
No, sometimes together, sometimes independently. But sometimes you can often tell, because one person's really enthusiastic about the grandchildren, the other ones, you know, I think it's just that people start to reveal what their thoughts are. It gets difficult when they present as a unified couple and then start to fall apart. But hopefully you can just take them through that thing and just say, well, you know, we can make all this work. Okay. We've just got to work out what your objectives are, and then we'll implement it.
So it's quite a tricky job for you. I mean, you're not just doing...
Yeah, it's a bit of relationship management. Yeah, and it's an interesting... I'm a lawyer, but often that relationship management role is taken on by the accountant or the financial planner. So it's important for all three occupations to be sensitive to that situation. And I find some people are good at being sensitive, other people, they just miss the point altogether.
Okay, so what's the end game for you? It's about communication?
The end game's about communication. The end game is getting a result that they're both happy with.
Yep.
And the end game is not feeding the legal profession with litigation fees.
Yep.
And the wrong result.
Yeah, which happens.
Yeah, which happens too often.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for your time.
No worries.
Great to chat.
Thank you.